As we know by now, the Philadelphia Eagles 2024 schedule was released on Wednesday. So coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports, I'm Chase Sr. We are putting together our perfect Eagles 2024 schedule prediction. Before we get started, we're having a sub-battle this month between two powerhouse channels inside the walls of Chat Sports and rival teams inside the NFC East. The Cowboys report so far in May has picked up 540 new subscribers. We are 200 behind that number. I know that we can catch up because it's the Dallas Cowboys. They always lose a lead. We've picked up 340 subscribers since May 1. Hit that sub button for year-round daily coverage of the Birds. That's informative, insightful, entertaining. We appreciate your support. Let's first take a look at the Eagles' schedule once again to give you a little bit of a refresher. Eagles get it underway Week 1 in Brazil against the Green Bay Packers. Week 2, another primetime game, this time against the Atlanta Falcons at Lincoln Financial Field on Monday Night Football. So Philadelphia has a little bit of a rest advantage there because they play Week 1 on Friday and then Week 2 on Monday. Week 3, early game against the New Orleans Saints on the road. Week 4, another road game against an NFC South foe, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can the Birds exact revenge from that disastrous playoff defeat? The bye week, criminally early, Week 5. Does Roger Goodell hate the Eagles? People are talking. Week 6 at home against the Cleveland Browns. I think that game's going to be difficult, but Philadelphia coming off the bye. Week 7, Saquon Barkley going back to the Giants. Week 8 on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals. Week 9, Dougie P. Welcome back to the link. Jacksonville Jaguars, Sunday Night Football. Week 10, Birds hit the road to take on the fraudulent Dallas Cowboys. Week 11, Commanders on Thursday Night Football. Then another primetime game in Week 12 on the road against the Rams. I imagine Eagles fans are going to be able to take over SoFi Stadium. Week 13, on the road against the Baltimore Ravens as the Eagles hit I-95. Week 14, Panthers at home. Week 15, Steelers at home. And then Week 16 on the road against the Commanders. Week 17, Cowboys at the Lincoln South Philly. Week 18 against the New York Giants. What you'll notice there, the final several weeks of the season, from Week 13 on, Philadelphia's not going to have to hop on a plane. That could get them ready for playoff time. So with that, my Eagles 2024 schedule prediction. I think the Birds actually start off the campaign with a loss, and it's going to be a thrilling game, back and forth between two of the top teams in the NFC. If the Birds lose this one, which I think they will, 33-30, that's my early prediction in Brazil, it is not a bad loss at all. This is going to be a tall test and a difficult opponent to begin the season. Eagles will be fine, as evidenced by my schedule prediction here, but they lose by a field goal late against Green Bay, a team with a plethora of offensive weapons and improving defense, good coaching staff. Again, it is not a sour loss for Philadelphia, and it's all good because then the Eagles come back home, Lincoln Financial Field, South Philadelphia, Monday Night Football against the Kirk Cousins-led Atlanta Falcons, if Kirk Cousins is able to come back early in the year from that torn Achilles. And the Birds win this one in another shootout, 30-26, as Vic Fangio's defense struggles a little bit early with some communication issues. Week 3, if you are looking to go to New Orleans for the weekend and have a jam-packed and very fun weekend, this is a great travel experience for you. You hit up Bourbon Street Friday, Saturday night, you listen to some good blues music, you have some good food, and then you just parlay all of that into an early game, 1 o'clock Eastern window against the Saints at the Superdome. And then you could just hop on a flight a little bit later on Sunday because of that early game, and you can return to work on Monday, hungover, tired, but still be at work on Monday and not have to take an off day. Eagles win this one 28-16. That Saints defense is pretty good. I'm not a believer in Derek Carr. I really never have been, especially after that close to MVP campaign when he suffered that season-ending injury a la in a Carson Wentz type of fashion. I'm not a believer in that Saints offense. I am a believer in this Eagles offense, and the defense gets it together here against a lackluster offensive unit, and the Birds win by 12. Week 4, The Eagles able to go to Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, another fun game to travel to, by the way, and they're able to edge out the Buccaneers 26-20. Earlier in the year last year, Philadelphia able to get the win with DeAndre Swift having a really good performance. I think Saquon Barkley has a good game here, and the Eagles able to just flush that awful playoff loss to Tampa Bay, and they win 26-20. So the Eagles' record through 4 games here, 3-1. That's viable. You'll take it. 3-1 is a great start to the season in a league of parity. And if you're pumped up for some Eagles football, we're talking football here. We're talking about the schedule. I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Eagles come back to Lincoln Financial Field, and they host the Cleveland Browns. Jim Schwartz is the Browns defensive coordinator. That defense was excellent last year. I think Deshaun Watson finally is able to find his groove in Kevin Stefanski's offense, and I think the Browns are a sneaky Super Bowl contender. I know it's Cleveland, but they have a very good, well-rounded team. Eagles lose this game 29-24, but then Saquon Barkley runs wild in Week 7 in his return to MetLife Stadium. He's going to be met with a lot of boos, but then he's going to silence those haters, silence those detractors, and silence those boos by running for 2 bills and a couple of touchdowns. Philadelphia puts up 38 points, and they dump truck the New York Giants 38-16. By the way, did you see the Giants' alternate uniforms this year? They are cheeks, and they look like the little Giants. Week 8. This is a difficult road game for Philadelphia here, considering the physicality that the Bengals have, the elite quarterback that Joe Burrow is if he's healthy. And if Joe Burrow is healthy, he gives the Bengals a 24-20 victory over the Eagles in Cincinnati. Then it's another primetime matchup. For Philadelphia here, Doug Peterson, Trevor Lawrence coming to South Philly. Eagles put up a 32 spot, and they defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars by a score of 32-24. And the Eagles' record through 8 games. Again, it's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. So stay tuned. Eagles' record through 8 games, 5-3. I think that Quinion Mitchell's going to have an opportunity to start for this team as early as Week 1. And he's going to have a marquee impact for this team throughout these first 8 games, and then the back half of the season as well. If you want your Quinion Mitchell jersey, it's available right now, chatsports.com/Quinion. He's wearing the number 30 jersey. It's not going to come in the number 1. And if you use that link, you can get some great deals on other Eagles jerseys, thanks to our friends at Fanatics. You just have to plug in that link down below. Week 10. Philadelphia travels to Arlington, Texas, Jerry World, AT&T Stadium, a place in recent years where they have struggled a little bit. They don't struggle here. It's going to be a down year for the Cowboys after they secretly rebuilt the team this offseason. And I think going into next year, I'm talking 2025, they might let go of Dak Prescott. They might let him walk. Didn't sign him to a contract extension. That's why I think they're secretly rebuilding right now, and they might be at that inflection point of resetting the organization going into 2025. So this year, Philadelphia's far superior. 27-20, Birds get the dub. How about them Cowboys? Another NFC East matchup in Week 11 as the Eagles welcome the Washington Commanders and probably Jaden Daniels as their starting quarterback. Thursday Night Football on Amazon. And by the way, we'll be doing watch parties for all of these games here on Eagles Now. Birds offense goes crazy once again. And against the defensive-heavy Washington Commanders with that new coaching staff being defensive led by Dan Quinn. Doesn't matter for the Birds. 38-14. That's a fat dub. Week 12. Difficult game here against the Los Angeles Rams. I kind of have the same thoughts about this game that I have Week 1 against the Green Bay Packers. Losing to the Packers and losing to the Rams 33-28, they are not bad losses. You travel across the country. You're playing in prime time. The Rams are a really legitimate team, and they lose this game by 5. It's a competitive game between two of the top teams in the NFC with that really good offensive attack. The Rams ended last year white hot. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams. They drafted Blake Corum. They have a good defense even without Aaron Donald. So this is not a bad loss to suffer here to a Sean McVay-led team that I think is going to be one of the top teams in the NFC, like Philadelphia, but the Birds lose by 5. Then they suffer another loss against the Baltimore Ravens, and this is another one of those difficult matchups. Trying to contain Lamar Jackson with pass rush lane integrity is very difficult. They add Derrick Henry to the roster. That gives them some thunder to the lightning that is Lamar. I do like the complementary weapons around Lamar Jackson, even though Odell Beckham Jr. signed with the Miami Dolphins, and that defense always brings it, even though Mike McDonald, who helped the Ravens out to the number 1 defense in the NFL last year, is now the head coach for the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Ravens are going to be one of the top teams in the NFL here. So the theme here on the Eagles' schedule, they compete with some of these upper echelon teams, which gets them ready for the playoffs. They take care of business against bad, mediocre, and good teams. Again, it's not a bad or fraudulent loss for Philadelphia to drop this game on the road 38-30 against a Ravens team that historically they've struggled to go up against on the road in Baltimore, Maryland. So the Eagles' record through 12 games is 7-5. Of course, in Philadelphia, we might all panic, but I think the Eagles end the 2024 campaign on a tremendous run. And think about it. They have a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator. It's going to take them a little while to gel. And what did I say a little bit earlier? It's not how you start the season. It's about how you finish. And I think the Eagles win out from this point. And they go into the playoffs with an opportunity to maybe get home field advantage, if not the number 2 seed, one of the top teams in the NFC. They win out, and they're playing their best ball in December and January when it matters the most and when you need to. So the Eagles take down a bad Panthers team 28-14. Then in the Pennsylvania State rivalry, I love how this is that late 4:25 window at Lincoln Financial Field. Going to be a little bit chilly. You're going to have some Steelers fans making their way across the state to Philadelphia. And the tailgating scene is going to be epic at the K-Lot, the Jetro Lot, the Wells Fargo Center, Citizens Bank Park, all over South Philadelphia. And then we're able to celebrate after the tailgating, after the game, because the Eagles take down the Steelers 21-10. That defense is going to be good, but I have massive questions about the quarterback position with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Week 16, Eagles go on the road, and Eagles fans are starting to sense a playoff run, and that excites all Eagles fans, so they take over FedEx Field. And they stick up their middle fingers to Josh Harris and say, you're a fraudulent owner of the Philadelphia 76ers, and here's that L, 28-16, Birds win by 12. And Philadelphia here sweeps the Dallas Cowboys, and they cap it off with the Week 7 victory by 3. A late Jake Elliott field goal from 50-plus yards. Birds take it over Dallas to end the Cowboys season, which will be bittersweet. Another one of those 425 games that I absolutely love. 33-30 my final score. And then the Eagles go into MetLife Week 18, and they improve their playoff positioning here as far as seeding goes. And once again, they dominate New York like they dominated New York over the last several years, because New York hasn't been able to compete with Philadelphia for a very, very long time. The time and the date of this game to be determined. It's going to be one of those flex options, either on Saturday or Sunday. And the Birds run away with this one as Saquon Barkley surpasses 2,000 all-purpose yards in this game against his former team. So my record prediction for Philadelphia, it's 12-5. And that's better than what they did last year. And it's close to what they did 2 years ago when they made it to the Super Bowl. This is a great record here to be 7 games above 500. I'm going 12-5. How do you think the Eagles will fare? I already know people are calling me a fraud down in the comment section, but you're free to say whatever you want on this channel because we still love you.